the Drone Champions League, the World Championship for professional drone racing teams. You join us for race day 15 of our Split 2 in 2023. I'm Matt Andrews. We have the top 10 best drone racing teams in the world and 2 matchups between them for you today. It's an 18-week season, so it's getting really close to the end. Quad Force 1 are in a dangerous position. They're starting with AK Drones, Propsicle, QT FPV and Hyper, and their opponents are the really close rivals SDT Perpetuum Coin from Spain. Blessed, Silvio, Danube and Sea Sky would love to beat the Americans today. They want to get into our top 4 on our leaderboard. Cyclone Racing are third in there. They've got the Ice Cheetah, Fluorescent, J-Box and Zion FPV, and they're up against a big challenge. The reigning world champions, Raiden Racing from Japan, racing with IQ0, Vincent Mayans, Matteo and Yuki. They aren't anywhere near the top of the leaderboard like they would expect to be. The top 6 will race in our live Split 2 finals, but the top 4 start in a much better position, so everybody wants to be up there. The track we're going to be racing around is at the beautiful location of Rapperswil Castle on the shores of Lake Zurich in Switzerland. We'll go down to that lake now through the Ascensio Gate and then this triple Torval corkscrew before we head out over the water. The far side of this DCL Gate's come back through it. This gate is pretty normal, as is this one. Then we go up through the first and down through the second of those hanging on the building. Expect some pilots to try and take that really tightly. There are 8 of these DCL arches. That's the 7th. The 8th one is hanging on the side of the castle. Duck under this hurdle, go over the top for the fox ear turn, and then dive down through that DCL gate before making your way through 3 fox ear gates here at the harbour side, between the trees, and then we'll go around again. So let's go racing. Quad Force 1 and their very close rivals SDT Perpetuum Coin, Propsicle and QT FPV against Silvio and Blessed. The American team of Quad Force 1 are in blue. The green team, that's SDT Perpetuum Coin from Spain. And into the 3 corkscrews we go, and everybody's safe and out the other side. Let's take a look at Silvio's view, who's in second place. Propsicle ahead of him, QT FPV behind him. Nicely done through the 2 gates hanging off the building there, and now we'll dart up towards the tunnel and disappear through all of these. He's half a second behind the blue drone that's in front of him, which is Propsicle leading the way for Quad Force 1. And Propsicle, he's had so many races this season where he's got out in front and stayed there and not made any mistakes at all. Let's see what Silvio can do as he tries to keep with him. He's 3/10 further behind already after just 1 lap. Now he'll go into the corkscrews and comes out of that nicely. He can barely see Propsicle now as the blue drone has got away, and Silvio is into Lake Zurich. Passed by both his teammate Blessed and QT FPV. Quite a quick recovery from Silvio, and he's already back up in a second. That's brilliant flying from him. QT and FPV and Blessed just briefly ahead of him. Now back where they were. Silvio, though, is almost 2 seconds behind Propsicle, who's having a clean run of it out in front and no trouble at all. He's halfway through the race, starting lap number 3. Turning through Ascensio and heading towards the corkscrew, these 3 Torval gates. Silvio just dipping over the trees there, perhaps a little bit scared he was going a bit too low. He's still 2 seconds behind, but QT FPV from Quad Force 1 is over a second behind Silvio, and Blessed is way behind at the back. So we have the stripes situation of Quad Force 1 then SDT, Quad Force 1 and SDT again. If it finishes like this, 6 points will go to Quad Force 1 and 4 to SDT. So that's not a bad showing for SDT, and Quad Force 1 not exactly pulling a lot ahead of them in the first 2v2. Remember, Quad Force 1 are 2 points ahead of SDT in the season leaderboard as it stands before this racing. Final lap here. Propsicle, and Silvio's gained 2/10 on him, but there's much more to do if he's going to try and catch the Quad Force 1 captain. As he disappears, Silvio chases him through the tree to try and save a little bit of time, and over the top of Rapperswil Castle, around the fox ear turn, and darts down to the harbour side. Through the fox ear gates, that's all pretty quick, and yet Propsicle did it all even quicker and put more of a gap between him and Silvio.
Nice, Julian.
All right.
Nice.
Blessed is the one who barely edged me out when I was like peaked out in quarantine for the Quarantine Masters series.
Sorry. Dale. Bueno, está bien, va.
Propsicle seems to be hungry for food as well as points. While he gets his sustenance, we'll take a look at some of the racing. Very close, but slightly different routes, as you can see, into and out of the Torval corkscrew on the first lap, and here they all come down the tunnel. At that stage, QTFPV was up into third. Bless got past him on the third lap, but comes down into Lake Zurich and lost that place back to him. Here's Silvio on the second lap. This turn should have been fairly straightforward for him, but he hit it on the way through. That's how QTFPV and Blessed got in front of him. This is how he got back in front of them. Just making brilliant short work of those inclined gates hanging off of the building. And Propsicle takes the Stars and Stripes all the way to the finish, no problem, and gets the 4 points for Quad Force 1. Showing his team how to win. Let's see if his teammates can do the same. Hyper and AK Drones have got Danube and Sea Sky. Away we go. This time, the STT drones of Sea Sky and Danube are the ones at the front. Hyper and AK drones for Quad Force 1 in dark blue, trying to mix it up around them. Let's go on board with Hyper, who squeezed his way to the lead. Oh, just made it through there. Oh, too wide on the turn around the buildings. Oh, that's a surprise. He did the difficult bit, and then the turn caught him out. That sends him a second behind the two pilots of STT, and AK Drones in front of him as well. And Hyper's, oh, that's really rattled him and broken his rhythm as he's lost another second and a half and is languishing far behind. Meanwhile, Danube and Sea Sky and AK Drones go on to the second lap. Danube and Sea Sky swapping that lead between them. AK Drones only just getting out of the corkscrew and trying to keep with them. Now, we've not seen AK Drones performing at the top of things quite as well as some of his Quad Force 1 teammates. We could see the very best of him here if he wants to try and catch up with STT Perpetuum Coin. A second behind them, but mistakes can be made. And Danube and Sea Sky now head down through here into the Foxier section. And AK Drones just fractionally further behind than he was, but so far so good. On to lap number 3. Danube, Sea Sky leading the way between them. Through the Torval corkscrew is good. AK Drones comes in at speed. He's putting up a good fight, and yet they are just getting away from him 10th by 10th all of the time. And you can see AK Drones isn't exactly hanging around. Down the centre towards Rapperswil Castle. Danube still ahead of Sea Sky, about 0.4 of a second between them. AK Drones just fractionally behind further. No matter what he does, he can't seem to make any dent in this lead they've got. We'll go back on board with him as he comes out through the trees. That's maybe slightly wobbly and hesitant. The turn for Asensio is nice and tight. Here's his corkscrewing again. Danube now. Out over the water. Sea Sky flying well. 0.5 a second behind him. No problem with the inclines and the climb up here towards the middle. Danube low over the walls. Quick but dangerous. But he's very confident, the captain of STT. Been such an amazing performer for them year after year. Oh, he misses the route down towards the harbour side. He's given Hyper a chance to steal second from him. It's going to be Sea Sky in the lead, and Quad Force 1 takes second from Danube.
Buena.
Hostia puta.
Qué pena. Buena.
Hostia puta, tío.
We snatched that away. Holy crap!
Oh my gosh.
All right, that's
Nice.
better than last.
Sea Sky, out and out winner of that race, but there was a lot of moving around. Danube was in the lead for a lot of it. He'll be so disappointed to end up in third. Hyper back on the first lap, getting tangled up there. Never give up, always chase, even if you do hit Rapperswil Castle here. And here. Danube over the rooftops on the final lap was fine, but here's the dive down to the harbour side. The green one goes in front of him. Okay, that's Sea Sky. He did not want to see a blue one belonging to Hyper get between him and second place. AK Drones on the final lap. Just clipped the same sort of spot there as well. Sea Sky's route down though, look at that. So clean, no problem. It's hard to make that turn. We've seen it trip up people in previous seasons on this track. No worries for Sea Sky. He gets a win. Now look how tight it is for Hyper. Ooh, that is so narrow. That is how you are meant to take that gate. And that's why you can get a second place in doing so. Big heat time. All 8 pilots into the air for the DCL Big Heat. Now we've had a win for each team. It's 10 points all. Neither team wants to come away with this being a complete dead heat. They'll both get 1 in the leaderboard if that's the case. That doesn't help either of them. So, who is brave and bold and good enough to try and take it from the other team and make themselves a little safer as we head soon to the live Split 2 finals. Currently the only Quad Force 1 pilot scoring any points here is Propsicle. He's in the lead again. 4 points will be his if he stays there, but 6 points will go to SDT if it continues like this. So in the remaining 3 laps, the other Quad Force 1 pilots have really got to find their way around Lake Zurich. Silvio, Bless, Sea Sky in the rest of the positions. Silvio on the chase, half a second behind Propsicle, as we've seen before. Now climbing up through those gates on the side, and the incline, and then heading up to the tunnel down the middle. And Propsicle just fractionally 100th or 2 further away than he was. Then it's Sea Sky and Blessed. Danube and AK Drones is then the next pilot, but they're in 6th for Quad Force 1. His teammates are behind him, and there's a big gap of almost 8/10 between AK Drones and Blessed, and that's not even a scoring position. Silvio still trying to keep with Propsicle, a little closer than he was. He's made some of those turns very nicely, but Propsicle is seeming to be pretty much invincible on this track. Flawless even. Silvio flying so well, and yet Propsicle has pulled away a fraction again. Where does he find it? How does he do it? Over Appersville Castle, Silvio comes through. He's still taking that turn into the harbourside section really tightly. He can't afford to let that mistake he had earlier play on his mind and try and slow him down there. He's got to take it as tight as he can, because Propsicle is just still there in front. After the corkscrew, Silvio's gained a couple of tenths back on him. He's within half a second now, so that is a place he can do some catching up. And this is good flying too. He moves a little closer to Propsicle. The charge might be on. Everybody else is 2 seconds and more behind. Silvio trying to stay with Propsicle. Got to make this turn again, and you're blind coming through the tree, so he's done it well. But so has Propsicle. No mistakes from him. He's got the win, and then it is all green means go for SDT.
Yes. Okay, no, it's fine. Doesn't freaking matter.
Crash hit.
Vale.
Buena.
Hemos ganado, ¿no?
Buena.
Yes.
Shush.
I don't know how many times I've said it, but in all the years I've known Propsicle and Quad Force 1, I have said he can't do it all by himself. Everybody close through the Torval corkscrew, but AK Drones just getting a little lost on the exit of it, which sent him to the back on lap number 1. Hyper after the chase he had in the last race. He could not get this section sorted out early in the race either, so we didn't see much of him. Down the tunnel, Propsicle leading all of SDT on lap number 1. And it stayed that way throughout. AK Drones was trying to catch them, but the corkscrew, he gets really caught up on the exit of it. Manages to tidy it up, but that finishes him off in last place. Propsicle only just got there in first, but then SDT took everything else, which means a really important win for SDT over Quad Force 1. That swaps their places on our leaderboard. Now let's take a look at the teams that are 2 spaces higher than them. Cyclone and Raiden Racing. The Ice Cheetah and Zion FPV take on IQ0 and Vincent Mayans. Now Cyclone are the best of the teams who joined the DCL at the start of 2023, and Raiden Racing are the 2-time reigning world champions, and they won the Split 1 finals too. So, big challenge for anybody, but I reckon Cyclone are really up for this, as they are 1 spot ahead of Raiden on the leaderboard. Mayans is in the front. Then it's the Ice Cheetah, then IQ0, and then Zion. The Ice Cheetah dipping down to Harbourside. Mayans, quarter of a second in front of him. IQ0 does a bit of a mistake and falls to the back, and Zion gets up into 3rd in front of him. The Ice Cheetah chases through Asensio. Zion just about the same amount behind him. Into the corkscrew as they go, following Vincent Mayans. Now around the curve to the far side of this DCL gate. That's quick for the Ice Cheetah, and yet Mayans has found a few tenths more and got away a bit. Mayans down the centre of the tunnel, up towards Rappersville Castle. The Ice Cheetah chasing him, 8/10 of a second behind, nearly 9. Zion just fractionally behind them. IQ0 not looking like he's going to help his teammate do anything soon. Could this be a 5-all result between these teams and essentially cancel each other out in the first 2v2? It's looking like it at the moment, but we're only just past halfway. Here's Zion into the corkscrew. Not too bad at all. The end of it was particularly quick. That gets him a little closer to the Ice Cheetah. And the Ice Cheetah is a little closer to Vincent Mayans than he was about a lap ago. But Mayans is flying this so cleanly, as we've seen him do again and again. He really is one of the smoothest and best flyers in the DCL, and he's proved it year after year. The Ice Cheetah, half a second behind him. Zion still there in support behind his teammates, but not doing enough to move up on side Vincent Mayans just yet as they go through Asensio for the last time in this race. Mayans a bit low to the water. Is all good though. The Ice Cheetah and Zion still making the corkscrew fly very well, and they'll try and catch him on this kind of split S, but Mayans is a little bit further away than he was. The Ice Cheetah is behind Zion now, but that's not the drone he needs to catch. They're coming back to the central tunnel, going through the 8 DCL arches, and Mayans is almost a second ahead of the pair of them over Rapperswil Castle and the Fox Ear turn, then the dive down to the harbour side. That's where Mayans had to crash for them to catch him. He doesn't. It's the Ice Cheetah who gets into a tangle instead.
Yeah.
Mayans is first. Then it's Zion and then the Ice Cheetah.
Great.
Let's go.
It was
go.
such a good
Nice.
race, Cheetah. Damn.
Thank you.
Dude, if I didn't make the mistake first lap, I could have had Mayans. I could have beat him.
Zion thinks he could have beat Vincent Mayans if he hadn't made a mistake early. We'll get another go when we get to the DCL Big Heat. IQ0 ended up a fair way behind. It started to go wrong on lap number 1 with that turn. Just turned too early above Rapperswil Castle. Zion doesn't get distracted by the Ice Cheetah suddenly blasting across the front of him. Made that, but not the Fox Ear Tunnel afterwards. A few pilots have been caught out by that, as though they're more worried about the yellow gates and then not lined up for the Fox Ear Tunnel. Mayans got the win, but it all gets cancelled out 5 points all. So Fluorescent and J-Box will now take on Yuki and Matteo. It is 5-all situation. That's not what either team wants. They're in 3rd and 4th. They've been moving around all season. China Dragons hovering around those positions too, who are currently finding themselves in 2nd. They want to score the 3 points. They want to get a win against the other team because they want to get themselves safely away from the teams of Quad Force 1 and STT Perpetuum Coin, who are trying to catch them and get into the top 4. Here we've got Fluorescent, the newest pilot for Cyclone. He's in the lead. Yuki, the runner-up in the FAI Individual World Championship a few weeks ago. Amazing pilot out of Japan. He's in 2nd. Then we have J-Box, who's always been a really good performer, but we haven't seen the best of him in recent race days. He's in 3rd, and Matteo just a little bit behind in 4th. 2nd lap, Fluorescent, Yuki, J-Box, Matteo still. Now we'll go to this sort of more tricky area around the back of the buildings, before we head up down the centre here. Yuki, 0.2 of a second behind Fluorescent. So pressure on the new pilot for Cyclone, and Yuki passes him just by a couple of hundredths of a second. Not much there. And in fact, J-Box passes Fluorescent as well now. So he's been a little bit slower on the end of lap number 2. And Yuki's taken the lead. It's going to be up to J-Box to try and keep with him. As you can see, he's very close. It's 0.2 of a second. The corkscrew is good for J-Box. He's underneath Yuki, but Yuki swings down a little bit to try and get through that DCL gate quickly, and it's now less than 0.1 of a second. J-Box on the chase on lap number 3. They head up towards the centre tunnel now. Yuki still leading the way, then J-Box. Fluorescent a second behind. Matteo a second further behind in 4th. Over the Fox Ear turn, diving down now towards the harbour side. Good work from both of them. J-Box takes the lead. 18 thousandths of a second between him and Yuki, and 1 lap to go. Pressure really on Cyclone now. They have a good chance to try and get a win over Raiden Racing here, but it's going to be such a fight with Yuki all the way to the end. So close now, barely hundredths of a second between them. J-Box finds himself in 2nd as they come around the building area and then head back up towards the spine, down the centre of this, the 8 gates. Yuki's a 1/4 of a second ahead of J-Box, but J-Box got him on the end on this dive on the previous lap. He's got to make it work again. Now they come down through the split S, through the Fox Ear tunnel. Yuki's still there. J-Box tries to get him on the last couple of turns between the trees, and J-Box beats him!
Let's go, J-Box.
Let's go.
Oh.
Oh, so close. GG's.
Hey, we're all tied up going into the final. Let's go.
Yeah, we got this.
Great.
Fluorescent almost came from 4th to take 3rd at the end. J-Box did go from 2nd to 1st. Back in the first lap now, Matteo. Well, he was at the back throughout after getting caught on the corkscrew. He's a little bit wide in the middle, turns too tightly to try and make up for it there. Fluorescent, I think, got a bit distracted when Yuki passed him. He swings down very wide here as he's trying to find a route through. Ends up with J-Box in front of him as well. On the third lap, you can see Yuki just ahead of J-Box by just over a tenth of a second. And J-Box comes inside on this turn, darts through here and gets in front and gets away. Leads Yuki out onto the start of the fourth lap. Then as we go back to this section again, at this stage Yuki is another tenth ahead of J-Box than he was on lap number 3. So J-Box doesn't quite catch him here like he did before. He's still behind Yuki at this stage, but he swings out and then carries a lot of speed low and underneath Yuki and beats him to the end. So with it being 10 points each, let's go into the DCL Big Heat. All 8 pilots racing. This could be really tight at the front, but it feels a little bit like Raiden have had a smoother run of it in both of the 2v2s, and Cyclone have been a little bit of the twitchier team. Let's go on board with Vincent Mayans out over the water, and he's already made a mistake there and hit that, and now recovered, and he's going high for Harbourside. He's gone through the gate the wrong way. He went from the top down. He's supposed to go from underneath and back through. Oh, Mayans. That hasn't worked out at all. He's 2 seconds behind. I still would be very surprised if he finishes in 8th place, as he is such a deadly fast racer. But my God, what happened to his focus at the start of this race? Here's his chase. He's already got a second of catching up to do before he meets Zion, and oh no, Vincent Mayans, this is one for you to forget, my friend. We'll go back up to the front of things. Fluorescent and J-Box are there for Cyclone. Then it's Yuki and IQ0. So in this position, Cyclone looking very healthy, and the Ice Cheetah moving up into scoring points. In fact, it's all Cyclone in 1, 2, 3, and 4. Raiden have absolutely fallen apart. Matteo is their strongest pilot now. He's in 5th, chasing. Not too far behind the Ice Cheetah, and not too far another couple of the Cyclone pilots as well. But it is rare that Matteo is leading all his teammates in a big heat. It's just as well as he is. We've just passed the halfway stage. Matteo now in the chase. Can he get through the corkscrew well? Yes, he did. That was the one that caught him out, remember, in the last race. But he's good here, and he's up into 3rd. This is great flying from Matteo. He's definitely catching everybody, but there's going to take a lot for the rest of the Raiden pilots to get into the scoring positions. Yuki, in fact, is going further behind. He's 1.5 seconds behind Fluorescent. Matteo out into the fight in front, but Raiden are not coming out of this with anywhere near enough points as it stands. Matteo up into 2nd. Can he get a win here in front of Zion? I wouldn't count him out of it. Matteo between the trees, low through Asensio. This is some of the best flying I've seen him do. Into the Torvald corkscrew now for the last time. Ducks under that. Almost got caught by it, but still in a race with Zion. And the Ice Cheetah moves up in front of him. He's gone back into 3rd. Yuki is still in the 5th. The other Raiden pilots not where they need to be. It's only Matteo scoring currently. He's in 2nd, 0.3 of a second behind Zion, the leader. Coming up to the last stages now of this battle between Cyclone and Raiden, and Matteo makes the dive down to Harbourside brilliantly. He's still chasing Zion though, and the Ice Cheetah is trying to get alongside him, but Zion beats everybody, and Matteo holds on.
Oh my God.
I didn't realize those. Hell yeah.
Let's go, man.
GG.
Great. Oh my gosh.
Mayans looks stunned how disappointed he is with his own performance here. Zion said he thought he had his pace. Well, Vincent Mayans let Zion get away from him there after making a lot of mistakes starting here. Then going to this section is a real surprise. Mayans goes down and then realises, no, you're meant to go up, then down. And he just had more mistakes at a later point as well. This kind of turn is the sort of thing Mayans could do with his eyes closed. So it all went very wrong for him. IQ0, haven't seen the best of him during today's racing either. Out in front, Zion with the win, just beating Matteo. And then the Ice Cheetah and J-Box getting 3rd and 4th for Cyclone as well. So a huge result for one of our newer teams. They will be ecstatic with that win. The first 2 heats both went 5-all, really good battles. Then the big heat went their way. Elsewhere, XBlades were in a very one-sided match against Alpha Prop. China Dragons beat the wildcard team. And Mach 1 got a win against Haven, who were a no-show. Everybody wants to be in the top 4. SDT are one step closer. They move past Quad Force 1, and Raiden don't get any further away from them. Next time, Cyclone will try and get another big scalp as they're up against XBlades, and Quad Force 1 will be desperate to beat China Dragons if they've got any hope of getting into that top 4. They'll be on the next episode of the Drone Champions League. I'm Matt Andrews, and we'll see you in the skies.